let's talk about that right now. We'll just start here. So Taylor Ray gave an observation that we could adjust the name of this segment to The Good, the Bad, and the Funny. I have considered we could call it The Good, the Bad, and the Funky.
Okay.
It's on the same path, but it leaves more leeway for randomness, I think.
Okay.
And it is much easier to say than The Ugly, the Bad, and the Good. It also sounds much less pessimistic.
Yeah.
And I figured if we adjust, then I don't have to be so specific about the order of the videos either. We'll just kind of try and connect themes to some degree.
Okay.
You like it?
The good, the bad, the funky. I think people will get it more from the rhythm of the
Let's do that.
title.
So I've got 5 videos, 1 meme today. I cut it down. Had more we could have gone through, but we have real job duties to get to while the baby sleeps. So I'm still stoked about doing this, but it's not a necessity. But let's check it out. You're going to appreciate these, honey.
Oh,
And
I'm certain I will.
I really battled showing you. I saw this 2 days ago. I battled showing this to you previously because I thought it was so irrelevant. And I just was... But I found myself being curious enough about how you react that I thought I'd wait until now. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this whole video. It's only like 30 seconds. And then get your observations and then tell you what I thought about it. Okay? And it's a poker video. Here it goes.
Phillips got the shirt off his back?
Action on Mabuchi. He's all in.
I call. All in call, table
Phillips
one.
turns over a royal flush.
Royal flush.
Mabuchi, quad aces.
You gotta be kidding me. Quad aces, your last hand of the main event.
What a way to hit the rail.
There's nothing more ultimate than that.
That is a statistical improbability, my friends.
Okay. Any thoughts about this?
The wow reminded me of Chris Pratt from
It was
Parks and Rec.
exactly Andy Dwyer. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Well, that's part of it. We have to watch that part again. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, identical sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that you noted?
I don't really know
Anything
about the poker game that you want me to notice because I do not know about
okay.
poker.
I was wondering if you had any perspective on the statistical anomaly statement because it's insane.
He said he had 4 aces.
Yeah, so the WoW guy, Andy Dwyer, had a royal flush. So he had ace through 10 of diamonds, which is already ridiculous. Like, stay with me if you don't think you care at all. Because mathematically this is insane and you haven't even realized what's the craziest part yet. We've got a royal flush, which apparently can only happen because that's a specific set of cards in that order because it has to start with ace. So it only happens like 1 in 3 million hands.
But the other guy had 4 aces?
And the other guy had 4 aces, which quads happens in like 3,000 to 4,000 hands.
Okay.
I was looking up stats afterwards. So basically the probability of having them both take place at the same time is at least 70 billion hands. It would be like 1 in 70 billion that would happen.
And he goes, wow, for a reason. Okay.
That. And then what I hoped you would miss, but it takes it to the next level. This makes it just mathematically impossible. Did you see who talked to him afterwards? This is Ray Romano.
That makes it mathematically impossible.
Isn't that crazy?
So random.
I figured that would be a great warm-up. It just blew me away. See? Okay.
Random.
Oops, it was worth saving it, huh?
Apparently.
So funny.
Wait, sorry. One question, though, is how, if he had an ace in his hand and the other guy had 4 aces, this game must involve more than one.
Oh, yeah. This is Texas Hold'em, so everybody has 2 cards dealt to them, and then they share those center cards. So there was 2 aces in the middle. The guy already had pocket aces.
Okay.
And then the other guy had a king and a jack, I think, so he got ace, queen, 10, whatever it was.
Wow!
Wow! Did you love that?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, I'm already recording over here. Okay, cool. Let's go to the computer. Ready? Okay, this will be a swing. We're going to... The title of this originally was Jesus Leadership for Husbands. What happens if I make this full screen? What does it do? I assume it'll look okay on the recording.
Okay.
We'll find out. Okay.
But what did it say? It said you serve her by catering.
Oh, Yeah, that's the guy's commentary. The video will speak for itself. Here it
Okay,
goes.
it's criticizing it.
How do you lead as a man in a relationship?
It comes down to the kind of leader that Jesus is a servant. And so to be a leader is to love as Jesus loved, which means you serve her. And so how do you serve her? You find out what's important to her, what she values, and you make what she values important to you. So the beautiful thing is when you get married, it's crazy how it happens, but you really do become one flesh, and some of the things that you value, she ends up valuing too. She ends up liking some of the sports that I watched. That ends up happening. But you don't go in looking for that as much as you go in looking for what matters to her, and you value what matters to her. And you put her above yourself. You put her life above your life. You look to serve her because your heart is overwhelmed with how Christ served you.
I should have got a transcript of this statement.
Yeah.
There's so many mathematics, speaking of it, which the last one to be done. There's a few things he said that are clearly just baseline true.
Yeah, I think that I don't think there's anything that you can say is 100% incorrect, because there is truth in all the things that he was saying, but it totally misses the mark of what God calls for husbands to do. And it's totally this is mutual submission. This is leading my wife is basically submitting to her, so it all is the same. That's not it.
It's even weak on, even if he was trying to hit that front though, because
that's true. He didn't speak one word about leadership, so you're right. Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is or where this is being asked. I kind of assume, in all likelihood, this is a pastor. I've been kind of hopeful thinking about that this is just a couple from the church that got put in front of some kind of gathering, and it's not someone high in leadership. That would be kind of weird though. Anyway, he says, find out what's important to her and make that important to you, which is fair, but it was just such a weak place to start from on addressing how do you lead as a husband.
Right. The question was, how do you lead?
What did she say again?
How do you lead as a man in a relationship?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
do you love your wife? How do you...
Yeah, how do you lead as a man? And he immediately, in his first sentence, he says it comes down to how Jesus loves. So this is clearly intended to be based in Christian biblical truth. And then he says, find what she likes. And for his own example of himself, I got to give some grace that he didn't know what question was being asked, I have to assume. But his example for himself was she likes some of the sports that I like now. So it was just so superficial. Totally catering to the mutual submission, though. I serve her by doing whatever she wants to do.
Yeah. And it's so sad. I remember talking to friends of ours that were over, and he was talking about a sermon we had heard recently that was talking about husbands being leaders, and how he was so excited. I think so many men are Christian husbands are desperate to learn how to lead their wives, and so he goes to church and is ready to hear this sermon and open up Ephesians 5 and be like, okay, tell me practically, how do I lead my wife? And this question, imagine a man in the audience saying, yes, I'm finally going to get a direct answer, practical how to lead my wife. And they go, just love her, just make her feel so special. And do whatever she says, put her feelings above yours, without any guidance of actual leadership.
He could have been answering a different question more fairly with that response, but not the question he was asked about leading.
I totally agree.
He said you put her life above your own. Totally fair should it come to it, as long as that doesn't mean you're being negligent with your own life, because you need to provide before giving up your own life. If it comes to that, you need to do that as the husband, but that's not going to happen for most people. And then when he started with, you find out what's important to her, I get it that we have to care about the little things. We ask each other questions about things that we're interested in, and we try and do things together, but the starting point is you clarify as the husband that Christ is your foundation, like was probably stated in some way in your wedding, in your ceremony and speeches. You set that in stone, and you wash her in the Word, and you put that over your home and your wife is a starting place for leadership for husbands.
Because there's nothing that he said that couldn't be said to a woman on how to love her husband.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And that was like, we talked about that sermon, and afterward, the same sermon I was alluding to before that our friend was discouraged by, because the whole sermon was, you just love her and you make her feel so loved and you just love her so good, and like over and over again. And later, Josh and I talked about it, and I said, I feel like a lot of wives can turn to their husband after that sermon is over and say, see, you should love me more like how I love you. And the question that this man was asked was, how do you lead as a husband? So it needs to be, I love my wife in the ways that, she tries to love me. And there's a lot of like mutual love there and care and sensitivity. But if you're asking specifically how my role as a husband looks different because I'm the leader, let me tell you how. Yes, like washing in the word, being responsible, protection, provision, like those things that are different from a wife.
I think I could transition. I think I could answer this question and transition to how he answered it by saying, I've said this list so many times. I look at the fact that I am responsible for my wife's spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. I look at the things she enjoys in relation to her spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being, and I make sure that they are set up best for her flourishing in those ways. So I don't just go along with whatever she wants to do, because if something, social media is my favorite example because it is so destructive. So if I see that her consistency in social media is messing with her emotionally or spiritually, then I discuss with her that we need to cut back on that, and I adjust accordingly. That's a simple means of leading my wife, not just catering to her emotions or humanity.
That's so beautiful. I feel so
You're
loved.
so beautiful, baby.
Oh.
Which this ties right into nicely with the next one.
Okay.
I said this in our previous... previewed this, that we were going to go through it. And I don't have a TikTok. I basically have only if my sister sends me videos, or occasionally you show me stuff. I don't even think you use TikTok really. So, but when I looked up Aisha, I think is how you say her name. When I looked up Aisha Curry, this was the first short video that came up.
Oh, this is Steph Curry's wife.
The clip, yeah. Steph Curry's wife. And this is a whole episode preview kind of thing, so it skips through a few moments, but it really it covers all that we need to hear.
And then this wasn't the only thing that I've heard about Steph Curry's wife is that like years ago she was so like supportive of her husband and talked about like wanting to be a stay-at-home mom and stuff, and then she's like flipped the script on it.
I have no idea about that.
Okay.
I don't know what it was in the past. This is going to be entirely based on just knowing that she clearly has a celebrity husband, celebrity athlete husband, and then this is what she says about being a wife and mother. So here it goes.
Welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you for having me.
Is it good that I'm catching you in the off season?
I mean, it's still chaotic. It's always chaotic. I don't ever get the opportunity to kind of talk about my life before my life now. I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl, and that's it. And then it happened so early in my life. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore.
What was the hardest part early days of like really trying to start your business?
I was either too young or too young of a woman, or there was nobody that looked like me. A reporter actually literally said on live television she needs to sit there and look pretty.
Let's talk about how you met Mr. Steph Curry.
When I moved to LA, he Facebooked me. He was like the guy at church. Like all the girls loved him. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Who said I love you first?
Me. And he didn't say it back.
Okay.
Wow.
We're just packed. The whole wall is covered in red flags.
I really hope it was cut worse than it was actually said. I hope there was context to, I never thought that I never wanted kids, but I'm so glad the Lord gave me kids and that his plan was better than mine. I hope that was just cut out.
That is a great heart looking at this. It would be terrible to be her, to have expanded on those points and then to see them cut into how that was. So I don't know. I'm not going to watch this whole podcast. Basically, this is not to specifically speak to Aisha Curry. This is to speak to the what is exemplified in how they put this together, even if it's not accurate. But it's the general like feminism
Yeah.
wreaking havoc on mothers. I don't know if this is going to say anything important.
No, people.
Our Canadian queen.
The first comment. Can you go over the first comment?
This?
I didn't have time to think about what I wanted. Wish more young girls thought about this before jumping into marriage and kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
this is what's educating our culture.
Seeing that at the top, yeah. And this is the same podcast, I believe, where that singer said she doesn't know anybody with kids under 4 who have light in their eyes. So, yeah, it's just hopeless women coming and complaining, seemingly. So, interesting, she says he was the guy at church towards the end. So that was another reason I really wanted to address this specifically. So there's I've heard little mentions from Steph Curry interviews over the years, like reference to God and things. So there's like a passing attempt to be there, but also seems to be just as, I don't know, he doesn't stand out as less prideful. I've still seen clips of him swearing during games and things like that. Like,
but
those are little
claims
things
to be a Christian in those contexts, and so that is a picture to the world of what Christians act like, and so is she in this moment, which is
definitely
the worst part.
Exactly, that's the foundation of the problem, and then so she says,
I don't ever get the opportunity to kind of talk
let's
about
see.
my life before my life now. I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be a career girl, and that's it. And then it happened just so early in my life. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore.
So you can see why I think this is when I thought of it, either right before or after talking about that Adele song the other day, because it was the exact same perspective. She said, I didn't want to be married, didn't want to have kids, wanted to just have my career. So just taking this at face value, it's so heartbreaking for a mom to go say, how much better would it have been if I could have if all this time I'd been sacrificing for my children and family, I could have just been devoting that to my career. Yeah. And is there any chance she could possibly look back at this in 20, 30 years and still agree with that? Lord willing, please no.
I know. It's so sad that she could even say that now. And again, like, if there's context that we're missing of, I didn't want all those things, and praise God that I was wrong to not want those things, and because now I have these things and they are blessings, because children are always blessings and never burdens. But then there's crap like this on the internet that makes children look like burdens.
Yeah.
And it promotes abortion and the death culture that we're in, and the culture that hates children.
Exactly. We'll move on to the next one, huh?
Okay.
This one will be quick. I was talking to you about this yesterday. This is I'm just going to play this last little bit, but this is Winsome Sears, who's running the campaign. What is it? The voting was yesterday. What am I trying to think of? Elections. The elections were yesterday for these.
Do you know who won?
Yeah, the Democrat candidate, Spanberger, that they're referencing here.
Wow.
So Winsome Sears, who was the Republican candidate for the Virginia governor's race, posted this and titled it, "Who Wants to Tell Them?" I'll just play this 30 seconds.
Spanberger's leading Virginia a little bigger than that, but both still competitive races here heading into the last couple of weeks. But to Mika, to Molly's point, I mean, this is something that a lot of Democrats are grappling with right now. Is they've nominated women 2 of the last 3 elections for the presidency, lost both. There are some who say, well, we can't do that again. The stakes are too high. But of course, that does fall into the same misogynistic trap.
Other countries have no problem electing women.
You following what's going on here? They were talking about her and other. They were talking about 3 different candidates in various positions, but specifically Spanberger, and then obviously they referenced Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton in the last 2 presidential elections. But they were talking the most in the entirety of the clip about Spanberger's race, who was running against a woman, a black woman at that, which another hilarious
so they're saying that they're like sexist and misogynistic, but that they can't win when she's running against a black woman.
So I love this. So Winsome posted it and said, "Who wants to tell them?"
Yeah.
She's running against a woman, and they're saying other countries have no problem electing women. It's so ridiculous. It has to be hilarious.
Yeah.
I saw I've seen people reposting the as you'd expect, the only thing standing between the standing in the way of the first black female governor is a white woman lecturing everyone about diversity. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't need any more commentary on that, I don't think.
No, we're good. But
right.
yeah, it's sad that she lost.
It's the laugh to cover your tears kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just ridiculous. So I kind of just
born in Jamaica.
wanted to address it as
an immigrant. She is a black female immigrant.
Yeah.
Come on, liberals. You didn't want her? Crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Not diverse enough, honey.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's... Never mind. Go ahead.
Here we go. Swing to abortion lady.
Awesome.
Hi, Jesus was pro-choice. Let's get into why.
All right, that's a bold claim. Let's see if she can back it up.
And why, if you're a Christian and you're pro-life, you can be pro-life for yourself, but you need to be pro-choice for others if you really, really are a Jesus follower. If you believe in God who's loving and compassionate and just, then you believe in a God who values free will. In the Bible, the book that you love, God consistently gives people agency, which is the ability to choose. Even when the stakes were high, even when the path is difficult, God never forced anybody's hand.
It's so interesting. I'd say first she clearly puts emphasis on the fact that she's not a Christian, it seems, because she says the book that you love and excludes herself from that category.
I don't know. I think... I don't
it's still possible that she's just talking to other people, but I assumed this was somebody doing I don't believe in any of your mythologies, but I'm going to argue against you from them, and you're going to pretend that I'm coming from a legitimate stance, basically.
I think she could totally be a Christian, but I think that Christians that are so progressive view themselves as an entirely different type of Christian than they do like the you versus them language.
Okay, that's possible.
But I don't know. This is the only clip I've seen of this woman. But I think it's entirely possible that she would call herself a Christian.
Interesting. Okay, so she says... Okay, some stuff that is particularly interesting is she says that... about the free will. That people have free will. And clearly there's truth in that, and God God allowing... So people do this argument of I can't believe in God because something bad would happen. So this is that same kind of argument, but for I can do bad things because God would allow them to happen, basically.
Yep. Yeah. God allows us to have free will, so therefore, let's have no laws.
Yes.
God says that we have free will, so we can murder not just children in the womb, but children outside the womb. We can murder adults. We can, abuse and hurt people and children. Where is the line? God says we have free will so we can do whatever we want to ourselves and other people. That is crazy. The argument for abortion always comes down to, is the child inside the womb human, and do you actually believe in human rights?
Gary DeMar has a book titled Why It Might Be Okay to Eat Your Neighbor. It's the full extent of this mindset, the progressive mindset, where there's no longer any laws. So this is in the category of, should I go on sinning that grace may abound?
By no means.
Jesus, his grace will cover all, so it doesn't matter what I do. And then
we experience forgiveness for our sins when we come into agreement with God that we have sinned and we need his grace and forgiveness.
Yes.
But if we say, I can do whatever I want, the amount of videos I've watched of women coming up to these pro-life abolition or these abortion abolitionists, and they literally say, I know it was a human, I killed it, I know it's murder, but God forgives, it's okay. And he says, and then he'll ask them would you do it again or whatever? Did you ask for forgiveness? And no. It's crazy.
Yeah, serious dissonance between, I know God forgives this, but I don't need to ask for forgiveness. I'm saying your soul is at stake in this situation.
Absolutely.
That's the worst possible position you could be in, is thinking Jesus is going to cover everything, but I've never repented and put my faith in him as Lord over my life.
Yeah.
And he's going to cover it anyway. Everybody's going to be all right in the end. And
yeah, you have enough knowledge to understand God's grace and forgiveness and the necessity for that, but you've not asked for it. You are held accountable to that knowledge as opposed to somebody who never got that information. That's biblical.
This lady's also doing the my virtues. I'm acting virtuously from her perspective. Somehow, in like the life of the adult is more important than the life of the child, in the sense. But obviously, that's lost on her. But she's doing the Lord, Lord, didn't we do these things in your name?
Yep.
What's going to be the response? Yeah.
Ouch.
Okay, the last one is just a little meme, but you're going to love it.
Okay, can't wait.
But don't just like boss me around, you know? Like lead me. Lead me when I'm in the mood to be led.
Yeah.
So I want guidance. I want leadership. But don't just like boss me around.
I want guidance. I want leadership. Oh, it's so good that he even uses leadership in this video.
I know.
Oh, if someone happens to not be looking at this, the title over the clip is How Most Christian Women Think of Male Leadership. And then...
Lead me when I'm in the mood to be led. That is so exactly, that was me the first few years of our marriage. I want my husband to lead. I love the picture of leadership and submission and how that reflects Christ's relationship with his church. I just love that so much. Unless I think you're wrong. In which case...
In that case, I'm right, because the wife is always right, as the people have told me.
Yes, and I'm my husband's helper, which makes me the Holy Spirit, which means that I know better than him, so I need to convince him to agree with me, and then he can lead me when he agrees with me.
Honestly, we've probably said things very similar to this, but probably the first step to actually starting off your marriage successfully, relationally, is to delete the idea that your wife is right more often than you.
Yeah.
It may be true, but if you're anywhere near actually accepting it, if you're near actually accepting it, not as a joke, but as truth, that you need to defer to your wife being right in all things, yes, your relationship's going to be in turmoil in the first year. This is probably a major root of why so many people think marriage starts off so hard. And then you're saying maybe. Do you want to elaborate on why you're saying that?
Oh, well, just women aren't inherently smarter than men, and we act like that because we infantilize men, and we treat men like they're stupid, and then we've got media and television like the Homer Simpson and the Phil Dunphy classics, that they're buffoons, and so women are portrayed as being smarter than men, and it's idiotic because like there's not truth in that.
This actually reminds me of a fun thing. Well, I just added this to my sticker list sometime in the last couple of years. I've probably said it to you, but I want to make a bumper sticker that says, college students may be smart, but they sure are dumb. I think this fits in that same category. There's the inherent cultural assumption of superiority of the women, so it's harder for you to see your own pride. Awesome lyric from Josiah Queen. Which song is this? He says, the thing about pride is you have it all your life, and when you think you don't, it's gotten in your eye.
I don't remember that one.
I can't remember which song that is.
Oh, he's so cool. Good. I really like his lyrics. Yeah, that's awesome. Certainly, are there women that are smarter than men, or some wives that are like intellectually smarter than their husbands? Certainly.
For sure. Certainly.
But my life got a lot better when I stopped thinking I was smarter than my husband.
Mm-hmm.
It's dramatically improved.
You could. I'm sure there's a significant portion of women who, if you go like IQ test or something, or I mean, especially like relational, like social awareness is likely going to be higher. All these things, but the point is, you're trying to usurp the God-given position of your husband. Like if that's the result, then it's a problem that you're thinking along any of those lines. Right. You also go ahead. I just have some fixes from the last episode of two things that I quoted incorrectly before we finish.
I was just going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. Wait. I was going to say that thank you, massage my head, that helps. If you think that, nope, it's gone. I'll let you know if it comes back.
To tomatoes. So 2 things that I did wrong on the last episode. These are not of serious consequence, but one is Grandpa Simpson doesn't say that's my Social Security check because he says I didn't earn it. I was thinking about this afterwards.
Okay.
So he says, that's my unemployment check.
Oh.
I can do the voice.
That was really good, honey.
I didn't ask for it. I didn't earn it. but if it shows up late, I'll raise hell. That's what it is.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And then the other one was that I mixed up Philippians 1 and Philippians 2. Philippians 1, so I tried to say, Paul says, okay, what I actually said was Paul says, not some people are preaching out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but still Christ is proclaimed, and in that I rejoice. What he actually says is, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is proclaimed, and in that I rejoice, when he says that there are some who are speaking out of spite against him. And then in Philippians 2, he says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility count others as greater than yourselves. Mix up.
Yeah.
Got to put the biblical record back together.
Yeah, you saved the day. I remembered what I was going to say
to
the biblical headship and submission and stuff, is that if the Bible doesn't say, wives, submit to your husbands because he's smarter than you. Wives, submit to your husbands because he's a better leader than you. Wives, submit to your husbands because he has more spiritual gifts than you. It says, wives, submit to your husbands as unto the Lord.
That's fire.
Yeah. You sound like me. Yeah, it's like I think that earlier in our marriage, when we were first married, I think if somebody assessed our like leadership skills, somebody might be able to observe that I had like more leadership skills than you at the time.
I'd agree.
That does not mean that I get to be the leader of our family, because God says to submit to my husband as unto the Lord, not because he's qualified, because that is how I honor God. And so your husband, I feel like I say this in so many episodes, but I don't think I'll ever stop because I don't think we get it. You don't submit to your husband because he's worth submitting to. You submit to him because the Lord says to, and that's how you honor God.
Amen, sister.
Also, last note too, is I was talking to a friend about this, is she was telling me she was trying to make a decision and she wasn't sure what to do and she's really looking for guidance from God. And so, as I always do to my friends who are married, I ask, what does your husband say? And then she tells me what her husband says. And then she goes, but I don't know. And she continues on. And then we talked about it another time, I think like 2 or 3 times. And it was kind of the same thing of, I don't know what to say, or I don't know what I should do. And I said, you know what's awesome is when, as wives, we're looking for guidance from the Lord and our husbands tell us exactly what we should do. We need to look no further, as long as it's not contrary to the word.
Yes.
We need to look no further about what we should do, because God has extended his arm of love and guidance and leadership to you through your husband, or if you're unmarried and living in your father's household, your father. And so, like, why are you, like, looking for a sign and trying to hear the audible voice of God when God's given you a husband to listen to? And maybe it's not the best decision. Maybe it won't work out how you wanted it to in the end, but you submit to your husband, and the Lord blesses that, and you will learn from that, and you will honor your husband in that. He will grow from that. Like, honor your husband, do what he says, and experience blessing from the Lord. I just had to share that because I thought that was, I don't know if she'll listen to me on that. I hope she does. It was a good conversation, but I want someone else to listen to that at least.
For sure. I love it.
That's it.
It's great. Okay, see you next time. Remember, Jesus loves you, so go and sin no more.